effective. But it never caught on in popularity in this country as much because some of the early American, first of all, Alain's original article was in the Journal of Experimental Brain Research, which just didn't have a lot of readership, but he had over 700 N, and he had been doing them for years. But in his conclusion, he doesn't explain clearly why it works. So some of the follow-up by the American investigators was not too kind in their review of his maneuver. But the maneuver itself is quite easy, very comfortable. I personally have probably done over 1,000 of them, and I like it quite a bit. In fact, it very often is the treatment I go to if I have difficulty clearing the patient, okay? But please understand that none of the efficacies of the treatments, GAN, Semont, modified cannulate repositioning based on Epley-Herdman data, is any better than the other. You're going to select the treatment method based on the biomechanical, physical needs of the patient. And if one method didn't work, use another. It's not because of the method. It's because of the person's body shape, physiognomy, that particular method just didn't give you as much verticality of the canal as another. Okay? All right. The Semont maneuver does take a little bit more finesse. Okay? It starts out just like the GAN's repositioning. And again, if you have a patient that can bring their legs up themselves with just a little bit of guidance, great. But I think it's good for you to practice with a bed transfer. Okay? Now, for example, you see she's a little bit on her back. So I'm going to ask her to roll forward. See that? That changed the verticality of her canal. Okay? Now, with the Semont maneuver, like all treatments, the patient will end up on their opposite side. So I'm treating her right ear, but I need her to end up on her left side. Now, here's what happens with a Semont. I'm simply put the patient to bed. Now I'll have them get out of bed and go back to bed. But when I ask the patient to go back to bed, human nature is when the patient starts to see that the table's going to hit them in the face, it won't really. But the patient will reflexively turn their head away. So I'm going to have to make sure, it won't help telling them, I'm going to have to physically keep their head in this position. So how do we get the patient up? Unwrap, right? Unwrap. Shift. Don't lift. Now I've got another problem. I'm in the way. Her body's going that way. Her legs are coming this way. I'm going to have to, like a bullfighter, step out, let the bull come through me, go back in, and put her down. Okay, let's do this kind of in slow motion. Okay, bring yourself up. I step away, I bring my hand across her face, I come back in, and now I flip her down. Wax on, wax off. Okay? You okay? All right, now what am I going to do? Shake and bake. Okay, we are in Paris. Okay? Do a little brie. How long do we wait? 1 minute. Unwrap. Shift. Don't lift. Give myself a tip. There we go. Okay? Did you crash? Did you hit?
It's weird going face first.
That's why so again, when like her face was here, remember what I did was I came in and forced her down in a nice way. But it is weird. It's very reflexive. It's like, oh, jeez. But remember, you're going to land on your arm. You don't land on your face. But it is, you reflexively are going to do that.
And if they do that, is that when it's going to go horizontal? Like they're going to
it's a screw up, period, end, you're gonna have to do it over.
But like, are they gonna, if they go like this, I know you're
They
gonna
very
do it.
well might migrate.
Okay.
And if they do, you're gonna have a very unhappy person. Because remember, the vertigo from horizontal BPPV is intense. Because the intensity of the nystagmus is so darn fast, the hallucination with it is very intense. Muy grave. Very, very serious. Okay? Now, you can treat them, and what I'm gonna do is, once you do this, I'm gonna show you how to do a rescue treatment. After I show you the Cassani, Appiani, I'll show you how to do a rescue. Okay? So again, I made it easier than it looked. Okay? You're gonna get your hands and your feet kind of wrapped up here, moving them into that other side. But I will tell you, it's also good if you have a very small room, for example, and you have a treatment table like this that's up against the wall. If you don't have a room that you can get around on all sides or whatever, the Semont is very nice because it's kind of this one-sided boom, boom. Okay? All right, let's go.